Hello, hello, hello. This is Miss J on BeExposedRadio.com at the Sugar Shack with my engineer Robbie in the building with us today.
I like giving myself the bell noise.
Yes. Ring it again, ring it again. There we go. It is Tuesday here at the Sugar Shack. And Tuesday, as always, we have great guests on at the Sugar Shack. Super excited. You know why? Because we have great topics today. We have two great guests calling in today. And waiting for my partner to arrive to make it complete. Ms. Versatile. She should be rolling in here shortly. Before we begin, let's tell everyone that it's 93 degrees outside and it's hot as hell. It is so freaking hot outside. It is ridiculous.
That's why more people should start skateboarding. It's good exercise. You feel the wind going through your clothes. It just feels so good.
Yeah. Now, this dress I have on, let me tell you how hot it is. Now, you see what I have on. This tube dress had underneath the breast area, and it's just wet. Just, that's how hot it was in my car. That's 93 degrees. Hot. That's not good. But we're in a cool studio. Air conditioner. Yes. So I wanted to talk about our guests that are going to be calling us today. Like I said, I'm super excited. We have our first guest, inspirational speaker and author Giovanni D. Rice, with his book, The Thirst is Real. Cannot wait for that. Then we have another author in the 6 o'clock hour, Mr. Wald Bundy. Yes. With his book, The Puppeteer. Yes. Super excited about that. So I posted a question. And I'll be posting a couple more. But being single in this time for everyone. I'm not ready yet. I'm sorry. I was trying to get it together. Being single isn't all that is cracked up to be, or is it? Some people have issues of loneliness, celibacy, FWB, which is freedom being friends with people in relationships, and all the different rules for men and women. Is there a double standard? So being single, sex, love, and rules to live by. So that's the question that I had for at the Sugar Shack question of the day. Are there any particular rules to live by being single? And everyone has a single relative, a single girlfriend, a single guy friend, a single homie, a single chick that they know. So are there any rules to being single? You just put your headset on. Did you hear the question of the day? Okay. At the Sugar Shack question of the day. Being single, sex, love, and rules to live by. So being single isn't all that it's cracked up to be, or is it? There are issues of loneliness, celibacy, FWB. And FWB is being friends with people in relationships. And all the different rules for men and women. Is there a double standard to that? So that is our question for After Sugar Shack question of the day. And are there any rules for being single? Should you not do this? Should you not say this? Should you not wear this? Should you not drink this? Like, what are some examples?
I don't think there's no rules of being single.
No, because you pretty much do whatever you want.
Yeah, like, I'm single. I can wear this, I can drink that, I can look at her.
I can cuss out that person.
Yeah, because I'm single.
I can sleep with that person.
Yeah, because I'm single.
I could caress that person and get away with it.
Yeah, because I'm single. I
'Cause
ain't in
I'm
a relationship. Who you gonna tell?
Who you gonna tell? So that is our question of the day. So we'd like to hear from you, Shackers, at 1-855-835-5857. I'm sorry, enter 1. That's 1-855-835-5857. Enter 1. Or you can text us at 443-642-9403. So, rules. And I posed that question because, like I said, everyone knows someone, an aunt, a cousin, a mother, and that some people feel as though, you know what, like you said, I can do whatever I want. Who are you to tell me that I can't? So, some people will say, I don't like being single. I like being with someone. Did you just do that?
I actually don't like being single. I like being in love.
I love the aspects of being in love.
I like saying, I want to call my girlfriend. Because then it's like when you're single, it just seems like you got to try so much harder.
To be somebody that you're not?
I mean, I ain't saying all that, but
No.
you just got to try harder. Like, I got to make sure I'm looking nice more. Because then when you get in a relationship, it's like, all right, I'm not really trying to impress nobody no more.
Do you think that some people being single might never get married? Those are some people that will never get married because they enjoy being single. Do you think that's a sign of being selfish?
No.
To each his own?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people just don't like the concept of just being committed to one person forever.
That's being selfish.
What do you think?
Well, if you're that selfish that, one, you have to compromise. So when you're single, you don't have to compromise with anyone. You can do whatever you want. You can love whoever you want. You can do whatever you want. There's no explaining or justifying anything. Where you're going, what time you're coming in, why you have to masturbate, why you don't have to masturbate. Oh, man.
The crowd was pretty loud on that one.
Yeah, I had to throw that in there, a little sidebar. Why are you taking so many showers? Why are you in the shower too long? No guilt?
I don't know anybody who would question me on why I take showers so long. Or why I take
Oh, I
showers.
hear the horror stories.
I want to know one.
Being single, there's no jealousy or insecurity.
I kind of don't agree with the last one.
Really?
Because when you're single, you can be jealous of people in a relationship.
Oh, definitely. Because you want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
You're secretly
longing
to have someone to hold your hand, caress your face, hold you, have late night conversations. Yeah. Not with some random chick or dude you met in a club that you know once they buy you a drink, they're going to expect something in return. That's not a long-term thing right there. Well, with that, friends. So, your partners not only want explanations or compromises, but they also may be jealous of your friends. Perhaps partners may limit the time you have to spend with your friends. In many ways, friends are more important than your partners. Your friends are there for you in the good times and the bad. And some people just like to hang out with their friends. So if you're in a relationship, if you're hanging out with your friends, your partner might get too jealous of you always being with your friends. You can develop your own identity being single versus being in a relationship. So often people do lose themselves in a relationship and forget who they are. And it's easily done because you want to spend so much time with whoever this person is that has you whipped at the time.
So what advice do you have for people who, can't really, they have that person they're in a relationship with, they make that person the center of their everything. What advice do you have for people?
Don't do it. Find your own identity, because it's no guarantee that relationship is going to last tomorrow. And when you put yourself so much into a person and it's not reciprocated like that, you will lose yourself. And you will look up and it's several years later and you're still doing what they want to do, but you're not having your own identity, and you might not be doing the things that you want to do because you put so much time and energy on that person, and it's not given back in the same respect. Thank you. You got to have more me time. So like I mentioned before, singlehood for everyone needs to experience being single. Whether you want it, you need it. Because how you want and who you want to be with, you have to be able to be by yourself to be a better you to your partner. So being independent on your own and not having someone makes things a lot mutually respected. Because once again, a person who is single and that's all they think about is being single, that's selfishness. Because they don't know how, like I said at the beginning of the show, I said they don't know how to compromise. So you need to be able to compromise in a relationship, and it's not just about me. It's about us. If you're single, yes, you're able to pursue your dreams, because everyone has dreams, but you get caught up if you're with someone who doesn't have your back and understands what your dream and what you're aiming for. So some people make work their boyfriend or their girlfriend because they can focus better, because they might have been in a bad relationship and they didn't pursue their dream of whatever it is they were pursuing the first time around, and when the relationship went to the left, they're like, okay, I'm gonna focus now, it's gonna be about me. So sometimes the previous relationship, how bad it ended, could make the person a little more beneficial in what it is they're trying to pursue, and then it could harm them because they might not want to try that love thing again. a fear of getting hurt or whatever, dismantle the relationship. And that could cause a lot of different psychological problems also. Oh, man. Now, a person that pursues their dreams. Single people can do the things that those in relationships can't. They can stay up all night. They don't have to worry about somebody coming in telling them they need to go to bed while you're up. And then if you're single, you do have a chance to experience financial independence because you don't have to pay for anyone else. You make your own money. You spend the money the way you brought it in. And you don't have to answer or question anyone. There's no joint bank accounts. There's no one telling you how to spend your money. No one asking you where the money went, where is it going, how much you got. And then we all have the emotional part. And this might be liberating for a lot of people because once I can't, I don't want to repeat it again, but your partner is your support system. And if your partner cannot support you emotionally and they're only supporting you physically, the relationship is not going to work. You want to have it all. You want to have emotional, financial, spiritual communication with your partner, not just one thing. So relationships sometimes can take the emotional personally, and the person might get confused and they're not understanding how to support other feelings between themselves and another person. So you want to be able to feel free to feel every emotion you have inside of you and not have to respond to anyone else about them. Some things sound selfish, but the irony of it all is that selfish concepts might actually benefit your relationship. And it's amazing how you see so many bachelors and they'll tell you straight up, I don't ever want to get married. And they're 50 years old, never been married. Shots fired. Exactly. So, and then you have your bachelorettes also. But women more, that's the norm, that women want more to be in a relationship than a man. But I don't think that's true. I think it's equally yoked that men want as much as being in a relationship as a woman does. Because you want to feel special with someone. And you want that person to feel the same. So, like I said, give us a call at 1-855-835-5857 into 1. Or you can text us at 443-642-9403. I love being in love. Don't do that. That's a good thing, though. Why do you think? Now, I'm gonna post this other question. And this is a little heavy before I guess calls in, and I'm debating whether or not I should post it just yet. Drag. What's going on, honey?
here. It's hot.
Yeah. Did you hear me say that? It's 93 degrees outside.
Hi, Shackers. Miss Versatile in the building. It's hot.
It's just hot, yes. It's hot. So, we were just talking about our first topic before our first guest, we give them a call. But did you see the posting? Okay. I'm sorry. Sidebar. Talking to the mic. Where I turn my head, the mic should follow. Yes. Sorry about that. Being single, sex, love, and rules to live by. So being single isn't all that it's cracked up to be, or is it? There are issues of loneliness, celibacy, FWB, which is freedom, being friends with people in relationships, and all the different rules for men and women, double standards. So I just went through probably like about 9 or 10 different reasons of being single. But the main thing about, as you were walking the door, was saying that is some people, men, that are 50 and have never been married and don't want to get married.
Men or women, you said?
Men and women, but mainly men who don't want to get married. And is that a sign of selfishness? Because the number one thing is compromising. Some people don't like to compromise, which causes a lot of friction. Hot there?
You think I was going through the early flash or something? It's just hot. Some would say that it could be selfishness, that they don't want to share their time, their space, their money. Mm-hmm. Or it could be that they're scared.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't throw in scared. I threw in everything else except scared.
Scared to be hurt?
Well, I did say that.
Yeah. I honestly, and she's a lot older, but my grandmother, I think we had this conversation about, she likes her singleness. She likes being in her singleness. She likes not having to answer to anybody. Goes and comes as she pleases.
Said that.
But her best friend, who basically maybe is a year younger, older, loves the fact that, you know, when she comes home, her husband is there. Or if she comes home early, she knows that he's coming home. Mm-hmm. You know, she couldn't be by her. She couldn't, not that she couldn't. She would prefer to be in a relationship and have a companion at home. Whereas my grandmother, she is fine just by herself. I mean, for me, I want someone there for her. You know, I want that for her. But if she's fine with it, I'm happy. You love it, you like it, I love it.
That's what my grandmother used to say. You like it, I love it. And those are the words I've always lived by. But me personally, I like to be in a relationship. I like the aspect of being with someone and I'm with them and they're with me.
In a healthy relationship.
In a healthy relationship.
Let's make
There's
sure
a difference.
Yeah, we're too old to just be in any old type of relationship nowadays. And if you don't see, and for me, if you don't see yourself being with that person for a long time, what's the point of being in that relationship? We're too, you and I, if in your 20s, early 20s, under than 25, you know, you're still maybe not really playing around, but trying to figure out what you really want. At our age, we know what we want. And
I know what I want.
And we know what we don't want.
And
so
I know what I don't want.
We should not find ourselves in relationships where we're being complacent or settling. We're too old for that.
Too old. I don't have the time nor the patience. I don't have the time to be raising someone else's child.
Okay, Michelle said it best.
I do not have the patience. One, I already have a 22-year-old and a 21-year-old. I don't need to raise a man boy, a man child, because I'm pretty sure that mama did a good job and they're just screwed up, but no, I don't have time. Not today. No. we were going to reschedule.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that. So I put it out there for everyone to call. But now, we're going to have to take a break. Quick break. And then we're going to come back with our first guest, Mr. Giovanni D. Rice, inspirational speaker. The thirst is real. This is Miss J.
And Miss Versatile
on BeExposedRadio.com at the Sugar Shack, and we'll be back.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing!
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Joe Perry.
And Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, here for RAD, recording artists, actors, and athletes against drunk driving. Yeah, you know we love it when the music does the talking.
And you know, the music stops when someone gets killed.
So never let someone you know get behind the wheel if they've been drinking. So keep it real. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Time for a flashback!
Vote.gov. I want it. I don't want to go to the polling places because I don't like touching that machine after other people. We talked about this.
Yes, we did.
I'm a germaphobe.
How can you push that? How can you do that?
There's so many vaccines out here, but you don't have a vaccine for germs.
Oh, God. Get back. Come back. Shut down.
Oh, my gosh. I don't want to go out there and touch the machines, though, for real. Seriously. Vote.gov. Come on. Let's get this out. Vote.gov.
It seems so simple.
You can have it. I don't care. You can take my idea. It's just not for me. It's for the people.
Yeah.
It's for us. Now, see, look, I'm talking on behalf of the people because I think the people should be involved. Anybody can get their hands on a computer. I will let you hold my computer for a second, and then I'm going to snatch it back because you're germy hands. But that's not the point that I'm trying to make. If I had to, say, for instance, there was an app, Vote.gov app, I would let people use it. Why not? If you're already registered and all you need to do is put in your voter registration ID number and your secret password or whatever the case may be, I would go around and let my hold my tablet out and say, go ahead and do it and vote. Get your vote on, please.
And then you'll have a whole container of disinfectant right beside
Exactly.
you for when everybody finishes.
When you're done. Matter of fact, it's not before. It's before and after. You'll have a wet wipe before. Wipe your fingers. Yeah, because I don't like your fingerprints on my stuff.
Oh, gosh.
Vote. And with the lights on.
That would be so unnecessary. You just need to let everybody that's going to use it for that day use it. Then wipe.
But who going to hold it? Then I can't hold it.
Well, just make that for the people.
Because soon as somebody go, I'm out, I can't stay. As soon as they go, I gotta go.
Well, I suggest you just.
And I got my flu shot, so I'm not scared of the flu. I'm scared of the typhoid fever.
I suggest you just make that for the people. You don't even use it anymore. It's not even yours. It's for the people that we're talking about. And it's going to be
Then we'll rent computers from Rent-A-Center and let them deal with it. Okay?
That's even better.
I can't.
But that seemed like a great idea.
Yeah, vote.gov.
That really can be enforced.
All new Talk Latelys every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 7 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to the Sharon Nixon Show on BeExposedRadio.com.
International, y'all!
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org, because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Free stuff for you just for listening to this station. Yo, we got your attention? Here's how it works. You click on the Radio Loyalty banner right now and sign up. Then you keep on listening like you already do. But now you earn points. Those points add up, and you can trade them in for cool stuff in the Radio Loyalty store. Earn more points by sharing your station with friends on Facebook and Twitter, answering surveys, and by using the apps in the New Players App Store. Pretty simple. Free stuff just for doing what you already do. Radio Loyalty. Click the banner to join now.
So, I'm a dog, and I'm kind of new to this family, but I've noticed a trend. My humans do this thing where they go around and get all my toys and hide them in this basket, but it's always the same basket, and it's always the same place, and then they act so surprised when I find them, but I'm like, hello, that's where you put it last time. Humans are the worst at hide and go seek.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I'm doing well. I'm excited to get on here with you guys.
Well, we're live.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Welcome back to At the Sugar Shack. This is Miss J. And Miss Versatile. And you caught us as we were coming back to break with our special guest. Hello, special guest.
Hello, everybody.
You spilled the beans.
You
spilled the beans. Mr. Giovanni D. Rice is in the house with
I'm in the building.
his book, The Thirst is Real. So, Mr. Giovanni,
yes.
Please, thank you for coming aboard at the Sugar Shack with us this evening. That's the first thing. Please.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. It's good to have you here with us. So, tell our Shackers, if you may, because I like to at first put it out there who our guests are, but it's better, I feel, for our guests to properly introduce themselves as well. Because I could say your name all day, but I would like for you, Mr. D. Rice, to let our listeners know who you are and what it is you do.
Awesome. So, yep, basically, I'm an inspirational speaker, and just recently came out with the book, The Thirst is Real, that came out in April, on April 22nd. So what I do is I go around to youth organizations, schools, and go and just inspire young people to go after their dreams. So that's basically the calling that I have on my life that I take very seriously. And, a lot of young people doing crazy things nowadays, and I think that if we could just get them back to being focused again on their dreams that they probably have given up on, then we would have a better place, a better world. So that's pretty much it. And the book, I'm sure we'll get into it, talks about how to go and maximize your true potential. And that's for everybody. I know I say youth, but we all could use a little bit of motivation every now and then.
Of course. So, for one, you started writing, and congratulations on your book coming out in April. How long did it take for you? Oh, you're more than welcome. How long did it take for you to write the book?
Well, it took me probably about 3-4 months to write it.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of people, I hear people say it took me 10 years to write a book. And, yeah, that was not my situation, but.
I know who to come to.
It took me 3-4 months to do it.
Now, has this been something you had in your head and you just decided, okay, let me get it out and I'm not going to turn back? Is it something that you had to literally psych yourself out to do, or did it just come naturally? Because like you said, it takes some people 10 years to write a book.
You're right. And it definitely did not come naturally. It did not come naturally. In fact, I tell people the story. Like, a friend of mine, he always told me you should write a book. He's always heard me share inspirational things and felt that if I was ever going to go and really impact a lot of people, it would be in the form of a book. That would be a great place to start. And like I said, he made that suggestion. I never really took it seriously, and then we ended up having a bet. And he bet me and said, listen, if you don't get this book out by this date, then you're going to owe me $500 or whatever the case may be. And I was like, man, that's a lot of money. So what I did to kind of like make sure I write the book is he told me to PayPal him the money. So I PayPal'd him the money, and he said, you should be able to bet on yourself. And so I said, all right, no problem. I'll get it done by this date. And I actually didn't get it done by the date. So he gave me a little grace, and said, well, I'm going to write a book too, and whoever finishes first gets the money, and I beat him. So that's kind of that's the thing that kind of like drove me from the thought of the book. I always knew I wanted to do one, but that motivation was that bet and not wanting to lose to one of my best friends.
So you PayPal the money.
Yep.
So that's the strangest bet I've ever heard.
I paid out his money, and he gave it back to me when it was actually available on Amazon. That same day, he PayPal me the money back. So, yeah, it was a strange bet.
So I'm just laughing because, like I said, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard so far. So you did this. Did you have a draft in mind? Did you just start writing?
No, I think actually I had an outline. I did an outline, but I didn't have it out front, so I didn't really know what to name the book. I just knew that I just wanted to inspire people, and the thing that breaks my heart is hearing people give up on their dreams. So I was like, I knew I wanted to write something about giving people hope for pursuing their dreams. But just hanging out with a friend of mine one day at home, we started going back and forth, and we came out with the outline. I got the title of the book while showering. Thank you, God, that He gives me his best ideas in the shower. So I got the title of Thirst is Real from that because I wanted to connect with young people. And obviously, the Thirst is Real is something that they always say to each other, obviously in a different context. Mm-hmm. but I just wanted something that was relevant, something that when people hear the title, they're like, oh my gosh, it's crazy, and they start laughing immediately. And that's a good thing because it just lets me know that it's engaging. It's something that captures people's attention.
It is.
So, yeah, it was fun, and we just kept flowing. That night, we came up with the whole outline for the book, and then all I had to do was just, do the hard part, which is actually writing it.
So, did you do it full-time or did you do it part-time as far as writing?
Writing part-time. So, yeah, I don't think I'm going to write a book anytime soon. Again, I just want to milk this one because there's just so much things that's coming out of this book. We've had the first Thirst is Real live event in Jersey back in June. So I definitely, we have big dreams and big goals to go and put this stuff out there and go around the country and visit new places and stuff like that. So,
congratulations.
Definitely part-time. Thank you.
I have a quick question because I'm hearing a little accent there. Are you from do you live in New York? Gio?
Big Exposed Flashback number 38.
Oh. What happened?
Free.
Sidebar. Let's give her a call. Caller. a quick telephone conversation. See, I guess he was scared because you answered the question.
Yeah, he might have dropped the call by mistake. Let's give him a call back.
So, while we're connecting back with Giovanni, a lot of important news.
I think he's connected again.
Giovanni.
Hello?
Ah, there you are.
We lost you for a second.
Lost you. Welcome back.
Oh, what happened?
We don't know.
We're not sure what happened.
Thank you for...
We're not quite sure. This is Miss Versatile, and I had a sidebar question because I'm hearing a little accent, and I was wondering if you reside in New York.
Is that obvious?
I'm from New York.
Oh, where?
I've actually lived in every borough but Queens.
Wow. Which is your favorite borough out of all of them?
Brooklyn.
That's my home. That's where I am at. That's where I'm at.
And are you West Indian? Because I also hear a little accent. My mom's Jamaican.
Oh, wow. You picking up everything. Well, I'm not Jamaican, though. I'm Haitian, actually.
Okay, I heard the accent. I heard it. I did.
Wow.
I love it. Okay. Go ahead, Miss J, with your questions. I have a few questions of my own, but I was listening. I'm like, I know this guy is from New York. I'm hearing it.
So you said that you were writing part-time. So did you write every day, 5 days a week, or when did you find time to write?
No, I didn't write every day. I just wrote when I felt, enough passion to go and write a lot. Because I wasn't that type of person who was going to write 1 page, 5 pages a day, things like that. Once I got into a rhythm, I kept on writing until I got tired. So I would write like 4 chapters in a day. That's actually how I ended the book. I actually left Brooklyn, went down to New Jersey, stayed at a hotel so I could get away from my environment. And I knew I had like 4 more chapters to do, and I just sat down in a hotel, no TV, nothing, ordered room service so I don't get bothered by nobody and don't have to go outside, and ended up writing 4 chapters and finished the book in that one night. So a lot of the writing was done probably like 3-4 days of just really bulk writing, but just no distraction. That was all I was going to do for that day.
And this is what I like about our show and the guests that come on. And since the show debuted, I've had a lot of great writers who have put out their own books, who have sat back and said, I wanted to write a book, and made it happen. And that is the goal for Ms. Versatile and myself, to have our books out. And I know, being in that pre-author writing stage, how difficult it is to want to extract the information from your head and write it down, whether it's on an iPad, longhand, shorthand, writing it on your refrigerator with a magic marker. I don't care how you're getting it done. But how is it that you, from a new person writing as yourself, as an established writer, what words of encouragement would you say to someone to get what's in their head onto paper?
That's a good question. I think the number one thing that I realized from early on is that if you're writing for perfection, you'll never write it. And so I knew that the book would never be perfect, right? So I just figured that one of the most stressful parts of writing a book is eventually the editing process. It's inevitable. Even if you wrote the perfect book the first time, you're still going to edit it. And so I was on a race to just finish writing it, as opposed to, oh, this is not perfect, I don't like the flow of this, I don't like the flow of that. You can critique it all you want and never actually do the work. Or you can write it, not be worried about perfection. Just realize that it's easier to change stuff around when you already have it typed out. It's harder when it's all in your brain. So you want to just get that out of your brain, onto a piece of paper, onto your computer or whatever. And again, not worry about perfection. You want to you're going to continuously make changes. And eventually you get to a point where you're like, you know what? I feel satisfied. I feel like this material reflects what I wanted to go and have it do. And then you put it out there. But I think, that paralysis, when we stare at the screen and we get that quote-unquote writer's block, that's the tough part. But I think the key thing, and I will tell any person who's about to write something, don't worry about perfection. You already know the topic you're writing about more than the average person does.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no pressure. Now you can just be you and just write whatever it is that's been put on your heart to go ahead and write. And your passion, your desire, your love for what it is that you're writing will come out naturally. And that's what people end up, buying your book and supporting you for. It's the heart that you put behind it, not so much, is this the exact right word? Am I using the correct SAT word here to make it sound all educated? Don't want to go crazy with that end, but just your heart on paper is basically what you're doing with when you write something.
So basically, don't overthink.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, that sounds logical, coming from, where you're coming from in that short period of time. And so what do you think of individuals who hire someone to write the book for them? Do you, as a writer who has an established book, would you go that route if you had to do it all over again, or would you do it the way you did it?
Wow, that's a good question, because I actually almost did it that route that you're talking about. And the reason I didn't do it was because I wanted to. A lot of times I tell people don't take shortcuts, because shortcuts are long cuts in disguise. And so if we have people do the work for us, how do I really know what it felt like to be like an author? So I was like, you know what, I'm going to suck it up. I'm going to spend the extra time, because I could go and do an interview for an hour and have somebody type it out and clean it up and make it a book. But I didn't want to do that, because I wanted that my first experience to be genuine, like a real author's experience. Now, if you ask me if I would do the second book the same way and write it myself, I would probably think a little bit harder which one I would want to go with. But the first time you write a book, when people say, "Oh my God, you wrote that book," you want to know deep down inside you really wrote it, and not some other person wrote it. I'm not Kim Kardashian, so I don't have somebody writing my book for me and I slap my picture on the cover of it and say, "Here we go." But if you want that unique experience, I feel like you rob yourself if you're writing your first book and you have somebody go ahead and interview. But again, it depends on the purpose of why you're writing the book in the first place. So I wrote the book so I could teach people. I could go and have people, because if someone's been asking me, what's your story, I have to tell it because I wrote it. But if somebody else wrote my story, then it's kind of a little bit harder for me to go and passionately tell someone else that story later on. So that's what I would do. I would probably, I don't knock people who do it. I think you have to ask people why they do what they do, and instead of assuming that, you cheated, or this is not the way it should be done. I think there's a purpose behind everything, and for me, I just wanted that real author's experience to be able to, I actually wrote something.
I like that.
Well, Gio, what are you working on at this moment, at this minute? I'm going to see if you're going to leak it out, because I just went to your Instagram page and I saw that photo. It says something about guess what I'm cooking.
Oh,
we do our research here on At the Sugar Shack.
Oh my goodness, it's social media. You guys are good. So I didn't announce this to nobody. Wow, you guys are good at what y'all do. Y'all get the details for real. Okay, so anyway, what I'm working on now is actually coming out with Gio Speaks TV. So it's going to be a YouTube channel that is supposed to be released sometime either tomorrow or Thursday. And it'll be like I have a series every week. It'll be of videos with different topics that we'll talk about. That's all inspiring.
And you heard about it here first.
You heard about it here first.
Say that again?
And I said, I'm telling our listeners, you heard about it here first on At the Sugar Shack.
You did. Wow, you guys are good. You guys are good. You got me.
We're excited, and we'll definitely share your YouTube page on the At the Sugar Shack page.
Please do that.
Definitely.
Listen, I got a question for you. How did you come up with Ms. Versatile and write it like that?
Well, Miss Versatile, well, first off, Versatile is the name of my public relations company. I also do PR. And I consider myself a versatile individual from the way that I talk, the way that I dress, the way that I wear my hair. I'm like a chameleon. I can adapt to any environment. And I wanted to spell it my own versatile way, honestly. And I just sat down, I looked at the way it was originally spelled, and I just, first I had Versatyle. I just had different ways, and I really like the way Versityle, because it kind of looks like style, but it's really not. But just a little play, on it.
Wow, I like it.
Thank you.
That is awesome. Wow.
I'm just sitting here.
Sugar Shack. This is good.
I'm sitting here amazed because we definitely want you to be a part of our family at the Sugar Shack. So that means you have to come back, talk about what's going on, what's moving and shaking up in New York. When we can come up there and be on that YouTube show.
Yeah.
And bring some sugar to the geo space.
Oh, I love it. Don't give me a cavity now.
And it's such a small world. I see that you guys, you attend Brooklyn Tabernacle. Is that true?
I do. I serve.
My daughter's grandmother attends, and she's a missionary for the Brooklyn Tabernacle.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you probably know her. Small.
What's her name?
We'll do that in a break on the sidebar.
Oh,
not on air, but yeah. But I definitely will share that with you.
Awesome! Wow.
See?
Yes, I do go to Brooklyn Tabernacle.
Yeah, this is awesome. What a great... Jay always gets the best guest.
Thank you.
We love you, Miss Jay.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie. Thank you. So, Gio, what have you found, if you found, the hardest thing, and what was the easiest thing writing the book?
The hardest thing is getting the word out about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably because it's hard to go and self. I don't have a publisher behind me, so you're really you're the person who pushes yourself the most. There's nobody backing you who already have a platform established. So you have to create that platform yourself, and so that's really the difficult part of it. But at the same time, when you have something that's very good and that people really like, and then they like the stories, they like the way you put it together. Like I said, the title is very important. The cover of the book is very important. All those things in place, and you have to have a marketing plan. So I think a lot of people, what happens when we write a book and say, okay, well, hey, the book is here. Now it'll sell itself. And that's probably the biggest mistake a lot of people make. And I come from a marketing background, so I already knew that ahead of time. So I have actually about 25 people that I sent emails to the week before and had them trained to change their Facebook cover photo, to go and post this on your Facebook, leave reviews for the book when you purchase it. All those things, you kind of had to do that homework ahead of time. And so that was the difficult part. The easiest part of writing the book is that I just wrote something that I'm passionate about. So it's not hard to write about something you love. If I tell you to write something about something you love, you write it like, and I tell you, no one would judge you. You can write about that all day and have no problem with it. So I love talking and inspiring people. I love energy. I love giving people hope. So the fact that I get a chance to write a book about that very topic, that was easy. So I tell people, write what you love, and then it'll be easy. If you don't think about college, when I tell you to write a term paper, you don't love that term paper. You don't love the topic, so you don't want to write the paper. But if I told you, if the teacher told you and said you can write a book report or a 20-page paper on whatever you want, all of a sudden it's a lot easier. So I think, again, the easiest part for me was I wrote something that I was already passionate about.
So you said, okay, so the book has been out how long now, you said?
Since April.
April 22nd.
Right? So April 22nd,
yeah, April 22nd,
and this is now August the 5th. So it's been out for a little while now. Have you found anything challenging thus far with the book being out that you wish you could change, or that you was rethinking and you thought maybe it could be a little better?
Obviously, I think it's probably just getting more connected with other authors and organizations that are related to authors. I wish I would have done that at the time, and get just networking. I didn't really, there's a network of authors out there. I just never really saw myself as an author until I actually wrote the book, and I think if you did that ahead of time, that way the people would have supported you. Like, if I had a group of 200 authors, like a Facebook fan page or a group, and they were all, authors, they would have pushed my book too for me. We would have all supported one another, but I didn't have that in place ahead of time. So I would say, that was a challenge, and is a challenge that I still have going on right now, is figuring out how to go and connect with other authors and to just expand my reach a lot more. And doing cool things like this, like talking to wonderful people like yourself on radio. This is just another platform to be able to go and talk about your book that other people may not think about.
Well, we want to take a quick break and then come back, and we want to wrap it up with our interview with you. This is Miss J.
And Miss Versatile.
With our special guest, Giovanni D. Rice, at the Sugar Shack on Be Exposed Radio, and we'll be back.
Join the club that gives you stuff.
Hey, thanks!
Radio Loyalty.
Here's how it works.
Just click on the Radio Loyalty banner right now and sign up. Then you keep on listening like you already do. But now you earn points. Those points add up, and you can trade them in for stuff in the Radio Loyalty store. Earn more points by sharing your station with friends on Facebook and Twitter, answering surveys, and by using the apps in the New Players App Store. Pretty simple, right?
Radio Loyalty.
Click that banner to join now.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com. The station with all the hits and the Talk Lately show weeknights at 7 p.m.
So, I'm a dog, and I'm kind of new to this family, but I've noticed a trend. My humans do this thing where they go around and get all my toys and hide them in this basket, but it's always the same basket, and it's always the same place, and then they act so surprised when I find them, but I'm like, hello, that's where you put it last time. Humans are the worst at hide and go seek.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Well, now we know why she goes to the clubs, and all I have to say is immigration. Let's get to the girl who...
So, I'm a dog, and I'm kind of new to this family, but I've noticed a trend. My humans do this thing where they go around and get all my toys and hide them in this basket, but it's always the same basket, and it's always the same place, and then they act so surprised when I find them, but I'm like, hello, that's where you put it last time. Humans are the worst at hide and go seek.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
I didn't realize, and it had a place for you to put your clothes and your shoes if you was to get naked, but it wasn't that kind of a parlor.
Right. Yeah, right.
With the Chinese people with the little fingers and stuff. It wasn't that kind with the happy endings. But it was so good. I laid down on the table. He didn't even tell me that he was getting ready to turn this machine on that was going to... I fell asleep. It was like 3 minutes in, I was gone. And it was only for 10 minutes.
Wow.
But I was gone 3 minutes. I was like, and it massaged, not only did it do the part where I was injured, but it did all the way up to the top of my skull, like right there in the middle. That's why I was gone. It was like giving me the neck treatment. It was like a passion mark. But, it was really good. It felt wonderful. It was wonderful.
Passion marks hurt.
I know, it was hurt so good.
you be trying to enjoy it, like
stop the blood. Am I bleeding?
Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's enough.
Keep going. It was one of those. It was really, really fun though. I enjoyed it so much. I mean it. I can't wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow I just might get naked without them asking me. You think it's Why are you naked?
Kill the visual! Kill the visual!
Like this. Like, I am ready.
You're your baby. Thank you. I'm a hammer baby.
You are now listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
So, I'm a dog, and I'm kind of new to this family, but I've noticed a trend. My humans do this thing where they go around and get all my toys and hide them in this basket, but it's always the same basket, and it's always the same place, and then they act so surprised when I find them, but I'm like, hello? That's where you put it last time. Humans are the worst at hide and go seek.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Do you have troubled skin? Acne? With Proactive, you can heal your acne and help prevent new breakouts. Right now, in this radio area, we're looking for just 50 people with moderate acne to demonstrate exactly how fast Proactive works. The first 50 callers who qualify can try Proactive risk-free for 60 days.
Call 800-388-7152, 800-388-7152, 800-388-7152.
We're rewarding you for something you already do, listening to us. It's Radio Loyalty, and it's an easy way for you to get free stuff. All you do is sign up. Go ahead and click the banner now. You'll earn points as you listen. Points you can trade in for great products and services in the Radio Loyalty store. You can earn even more points when you share your favorite station with friends on Facebook and Twitter. Radio Loyalty, it's free to sign up. So click the banner to join now.
No problem.
Hey, welcome back to the Sugar Shack. This is Miss Versatile and Miss J, the engineer Robbie, and we're on the line with Gio DeReese. And we are talking about his book, The Thirst is Real. Gio, I had a question. I see that you're a motivational speaker and you've been going. How do you choose your audience? I know you cater to teens. Have you gone into the schools? Do you actually go to different schools in your community to speak, or are you doing programs? How's that going for you?
It's going, well, I do go to schools and speak, so different schools in the community. I've had opportunities to speak at conferences, leadership conferences that have catered to the youth. That target market really is because I remember what high school was like for me, and I never had a big brother to tell me don't go right, go left, and things like that. So I wanted to go ahead and be a big brother to other people. I was in a Big Brothers program for a year and a half, and I had a mentee. And I figured by being a motivational speaker, coming out with a book would enable me to be a mentor to many. And I didn't have to necessarily be with them in the present moment. I could go and have a book and use the stories in the book to go ahead and inspire them. So that's kind of where I got my heart to go and connect with young people. And I also coached football in high school for 3 years, too. So I had an opportunity to just hear people at that age when they pretty much nowadays, especially at that age, you're pretty much acting like you're an adult anyway. So I feel like at that point is an opportunity to go and talk to them and get their minds right before they get to 18, because once they got to 18, they're pretty much acting like a bunch of 21, 22-year-olds, and they're stuck in their ways a lot of time. So I think that's the key, is really letting them know. And I think the key thing I try to tell people, especially with parents, I don't have a kid and myself, but I would say that a lot of times we tell kids, we tell young people what to do, and I feel like the mistake we make is never asking them what it is that they would like to do. And support them on that, and let them know that, education is important, but why is education important? And I think if you ask them what it is that you want to do first, and then sell the education part of it, then they'll understand. So let's say some kid says, I want to be a rapper and I don't need school. Well, you're going to need to know how to read so that you can see that your contract says that they're taking all your money.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you still need to read. You need to be able to do basic stuff and do math and things like that. So once I know that you want to be a rapper, now I can tell you why reading is important. Like, if you don't know how to read, how could you read up on past rappers so you can learn what to do and what not to do? So I think, again, if we took a step back and ask them what it is that you want to do, I think every young person knows what they kind of have an idea what they want to do. They just don't think that the people above them or older than them necessarily care, so they just go about their business and act reckless and all these different things like that. And I'm hoping to go and put a little dent in that parade of recklessness and the crazy stuff that we see on Facebook now, like fire challenge, Vaseline challenge. I'm like, yo, what? It's like a competition on who can do the stupidest thing next. So you know, and it's tough. And I think, again, it's a cry for attention. But I think we can always get attention the right way. It doesn't have to be in a way where we're harming ourselves.
Well, I would like to say thank you so much for a wonderful, wonderful interview, Mr. Gio, and gracing your presence with at the Sugar Shack today. And as I said before, I don't want this to be the last time coming aboard.
No.
You're a permanent fixture on at the Sugar Shack. So
thank you.
Where can our listeners follow up with you and follow up with your book? And
say that again.
How can our listeners follow you, follow up with you, stalk you, all that good stuff?
You guys, well, I'm on Instagram. So on Instagram is GeoSpeaks. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/GeoSpeaks. And I also have the website, geospeaks.com. So that'll be out there. And then if you go on any of those channels, you'll be able to connect to all the other stuff that's going on. And obviously, I got more stuff that I have in store I want to do. And just like you guys are, looking to go and continue to support people like myself to give us a nice platform to go and share products and share what we're doing in the community. We always want to evolve. And so, like I said, go to GeoSpeaks on Instagram. That's the handle there. And on Facebook is facebook.com/GeoSpeaks. And that's it. And, hit me up. I'll be back on the show again. So that would be fun to do it again with you guys. And I just am grateful for the opportunity to speak with you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Gio. We appreciate it. So we're going to chat with you. We're going to follow up with you to see in a couple of weeks how the book is progressing,
how the YouTube channel is going.
How the YouTube channel is going, so we can take a trip or two.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gio Speaks on At the Sugar Shacks. Thanks, Gio.
Thank you so much, Gio.
Thank you.
Follow back.
So much.
Follow back.
All right.
All right. Take care. Be blessed.
Yay. Mr. Gio Speaks on At the Sugar Shack. Great interview there, sis. Great interview.
Awesome interview.
I tell you, the people that we have come aboard are so inspirational about the book. Yes. About the book that you and I have sat down on numerous occasions and said we were going to write our book. And it's just pushing me further and further to get it done, because it's not like we cannot get it done. As you can see, there's plenty of authors that have been on At the Sugar Shack who started out the same way as we were talking, with a vision. So, with the vision, we have our next guest getting ready to chat with us. Super excited again. Super oopa duper excited. You know why?
Why?
Because I love my authors and my motivational speakers.
And here we go.
Hello.
Hi.
Is this Mr. Walt?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Hello, Walt.
Hi.
This is Miss J.
And Miss Versatile.
And we are calling you from At the Sugar Shack. How are you today,
wow,
sir?
Thank you. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. So, thank you for coming aboard. And I've already been talking about you and putting you out there that you were coming aboard, and so excited. So, as I always say to my guests, I can say your name but it's better if you introduce yourself and tell everyone who you are and what it is that you do. Do you mind?
Well, I'd be pleased to. First, I'd like to say hi to all of your listeners. I'm so glad they're there. And thank you both for having me with you on your show today. My name is Walt Biondi, and I'm a best-selling author of a book called Jeremiah's Tale. And I have a new book coming out next Tuesday under Tate Publishing. And the name of the book is The Promiscuous Puppeteer.
That name is so interesting. Very interesting.
Yes. And the reason I noticed that I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago, and I said, if someone is coming on, I didn't give the date, but I was like, when you hear his story, you will not believe this gentleman that's on the phone with us. You will not believe where he started and where he is now. So, Walt, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. Well, there was a time in my life when my parents divorced and my mother moved to California and brought 3 children. I was one with her. And I was 14, 15, and I didn't care for it, and I was a troubled child. I was labeled as incorrigible and was doing poorly in school, and I ran away from home at age 15. And I became a homeless street kid and lived off the street, living in the gutter, sleeping on park benches, sleeping on a bed of leaves, just trying to get by. I ended up having to steal Coke bottles, empty Coke bottles from the sides of Coca-Cola machines, and to cash them in for 2 cents a bottle in order to get enough money to buy a gallon of gas or whatever. And on occasion, just like in the play Les Miserables and the character Jean Valjean, I stole bread in order to live. I was destitute. I was starving. My weight had dropped to a dramatically low level. I was sick. I'd been robbed and beaten. And I reached a point in life after having been in jail a couple of times at a very young age where I wondered whether or not I was going to survive. Wondered if my life was going to be one of being in prison, whether I would be sick and pass away at an early age, whether I would just continue living like I was living. I had no idea. And then one day, I remembered that a family member had once given me a little slip of paper, a card that had a saying on it, and realizing that I'd hit the bottom, that I had nothing left in life, and that I was feeling as though my life was over, I pulled out that paper, and I read it, and it had a saying on it, which began to change my life, which began to give me hope. It began to give me inspiration. And that piece of paper simply said, and you have to think long and hard about the words, but it simply said that we are, or it said you are, what you think about. If you choose to think negatively, then that's how you'll be. If you choose to think positively, then that's how you'll be. And if you choose to set a goal and you think about it every day, you'll begin to accomplish that goal. If so long as you live that goal, you think about it. It's baby steps, one small task at a time, moving forward. And so by the time I was almost 19, my life began to change very dramatically. And to make a long story short, over a period of just a few years, after having never gotten past a 9th grade in a public school system, I graduated with straight A's from college. I got into law school. I ended up becoming a police officer, a deputy U.S. Marshal. I ended up being the chief of a training academy for a federal law enforcement agency. I went on to, well, I'll just make this quick. I went on to be one of the heads of 2 federal law enforcement agencies.
Say it again, Walt. Say it again.
I was one of the heads of 2 federal law enforcement agencies. I became the chief inspector for Interpol, and I was awarded by President Clinton as the Senior Distinguished Executive of the Year. So over that period of time, I had gone from living in rags to a three-piece suit. I went from sleeping on a park bench to occupying the coveted corner executive office suite. I went from having virtually nothing to eat to having an abundance of food. I went from having nothing in my pocket to having everything I needed in life. So my life changed dramatically.
What a testimony.
You just don't understand, Ms. Versatile. When Walt and I was speaking on the phone, I was literally in tears speaking with him because, you know, it doesn't take much for me to cry, but to hear a story like that, to know that no one gave him anything. He worked for this. He started from the bottom of nothing and worked his way up on his own without, I won't say the lack of, he was determined he was going to make it with the little things that he had, and it didn't set him back. Of course, you have to go through some things to get somewhere. And when he was speaking to me, I'm sure you'll remember that I was in tears talking to him, that
I do.
He shows speaking to him in his book, in his writing, and just the inspiration that anyone can do anything that they put their mind to. You just have to want it. And I'm sorry, I just had to do that sidebar. And I said that I was so proud to even know this man like this, to have him a part of the show and a part of our lives, that you don't know who's listening, who that little bit of conversation of inspiring someone.
I have a saying I like to share with people, if I may, if I can share something for just a moment.
Sure.
When I was I was about 21, 22, and I was taking college courses. I remember sitting down in the college library and I wrote something down, and I was very inspired, as you can tell, to try to do something with my life. And I remember trying to make the distinction between the words inspired and aspired. I was inspired to do things, but I had aspirations, meaning I wanted to accomplish great things. And so I remember sitting there thinking that the average person would think that, as an example, to define the word aspiration, that it's the moth that's drawn by the light of the nearest light bulb. So a moth aspires to go towards a light, and they aspire to go to that nearest light bulb. But I consider aspiration, real aspiration, to be the moth that's drawn by the light of the most distant star.
My goodness.
Wow. What an analogy.
Oh my God. Like, I'm speechless that it takes a lot for me to be speechless, but you just don't understand that, Walt, as long as you've been on this earth, you've seen some things, I'm pretty sure you had your trials and tribulations just like everyone else did. So that one analogy that puts you in the right direction, and I'm sure you have given this analogy to other other individuals in your journey on your way up the corporate ladder, and that's kind of hard to do. What is it about you, do you think, for someone to have given you a chance? And I say that because there's other people that are listening who aspire to be better, but certain people won't give them a chance.
I understand. And I confronted that every day. And I can remember, as I would work hard every day, that I realized what I had to do was to work harder and smarter than the average person in order to keep improving. I can remember words that I wrote and thought about, such as I had to strive to progress. I could not ever achieve perfection, but always strive to progress. And I believed that success would rarely come to me if I ever quit trying to succeed. So I had to keep striving for that progress and never give up on it. And if I did, then if I quit trying, then success wouldn't come. And I can remember feeling a lot of gratitude for a lot of people who helped me along the way. That doesn't mean that they recognized that I had been a poverty-stricken street child with nothing, but that when I worked hard, there were people who tended to take an interest in me, and I'm grateful for them. So I feel gratitude, and I believe that gratitude, when you feel it and you act on it and you show it and display it, that you're grateful for what you have as you move along in life, and that you try to help others along the way, that gratitude can change things for you in a positive way. But if you choose to feel contempt all the time for things that aren't the way you want them to be, then contempt changes nothing. And usually the only person, I felt this way at least, usually the only person I was destined to become was the person that I decided to be.
So why do you write? What put you into that category of all your journeys in your life?
Thank you for asking. Well, I had a wonderful career, as I described to you earlier, and I retired from that at an early age. And I was blessed with so many wonderful things in life. One of the experiences I had was a teacher who had assigned me in the 8th grade to the school newspaper because he knew I liked to write. And I can remember I was always staring out windows in my classrooms while I was getting F's in my courses and not paying attention to the classes. And I was a daydreamer. Later in life, I wrote that a daydreamer can become a night writer. And I'll explain that. So thanks to this teacher, I went on through all my career doing all the things I did. I wrote a lot of things. I wrote small textbooks. I like to write poetry on the side and short stories and poems. And it gradually got to the point where when I had the time, I could sit down and write a book. And I loved doing it. I couldn't wait to do it. And when I did, I felt good about what I was doing. I loved it. And I reflect upon that teacher who assigned me back in the 8th grade to the school newspaper. So when I started writing, I felt as though the opportunity had finally arrived where I could sit down and take something from my mind and put it on paper and see how it would come out. Something more than just a short story or a poem or a bland textbook.
So when you started the process of writing and the inspiration from your previous teacher, initially, what were your ambitions for your writing career? Did you just think it was just going to be... Okay.
Yeah, I really had none. I enjoy writing. I shared what I'd written over the years with very few people, except that which I wrote for my employer. Of course, that had to be shared. But the things that I wrote privately, I did for the enjoyment of writing. And when I started writing my first book, I can remember thinking that I was taking an example of a year in the life of a family on a farm, and describing what I saw in that life of that dairy farmer's family. And to capture what I saw and the emotions involved, and to wrap it up in the final chapter with a final conclusion, I felt very good about being able to describe in writing something that I felt then I wanted to publish. And then ultimately, after I published that book, I went out and began to learn about something new. A little bit about geology and finance, a little bit about precious metals, a little bit about things that I thought I would want to include in a new book. And I began to travel the western states through the desert areas, gathering information, learning, meeting with people. And I really enjoyed what I was learning. I've always been a learner. I'm never one to sit with an idle mind. I crave to learn new things. And so I absorbed, like a sponge, as much as I could about things that I thought I could write my second book about. And I remember And people say, well, what was it? What was that moment where you decided you were going to write this book? And can you describe what it was that motivated you to do it? And I tell people that I really wanted to do this book. I felt strongly about what I had in the way of information. And I was out digging for turquoise in the Nevada desert. And I had brought out of the ground a couple of buckets of turquoise.
Hold on for a quick second. We want to take a break, come back, and I want to follow up with you. So this is Miss J.
And Miss Versatile.
And our special guest, Mr. Will Beyonde, on Beats, Bows, and Radio at the Sugar Shack, and we'll be back.
So, I'm a dog, and I'm kind of new to this family, but I've noticed a trend. My humans do this thing where they go around and get all my toys and hide them in this basket, but it's always the same basket, and it's always the same place, and then they act so surprised when I find them, but I'm like, hello, that's where you put it last time. Humans are the worst at hide and go seek.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
From north, east, south, and west, you're listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Do you have troubled skin, acne? With Proactive, you can heal your acne and help prevent new breakouts. Right now, in this radio area, we're looking for just 50 people with moderate acne to demonstrate exactly how fast Proactive works. The first 50 callers who qualify can try Proactive risk-free for 60 days.
Call 800-388-7152, 800-388-7152, 800-388-7152.
Hemorrhoid, you cannot have a colonic.
Well, I had hemorrhoids when I had the baby. All that pushing, he blew my behind out.
Okay.
But they've been cured, after I sat in that little pool of whatever the mess that you do at the hospital, and then they give you a little, prescription afterwards, and so it's been cured up. But, yeah.
Did you have laser? Did you have laser surgery to remove them?
No, it wasn't like that, Carl.
Okay.
How you doing?
Okay,
mine back was blown out from having a baby.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just making a joke.
Yeah, but I just wanted you to pass that on because, I think it's a good thing about colonics.
Yes.
But I was so disappointed when he said, no, because you got hemorrhoids, you cannot get a colonic.
Well, sweetheart, why don't you get your hemorrhoids fixed? Is it impossible because of homosexual sex?
No, because you know why? Because that doctor with the Z that you went to?
Yeah.
That's the one I went to, and they totally screwed it up.
Dr. Zismore?
Don't say his name.
Why? No,
because I don't want him to get any business.
First of all, he's a dermatologist. So I don't know. I don't even know why you went to him for a colonic. Look, listen to me.
No. I went to him for the hemorrhoid.
No. Go to a general practitioner. Why are you going to a dermatologist to fix the damn hemorrhoid? Carl, please.
Okay.
Go get your hemorrhoids fixed. You can get hemorrhoids fixed now. Am I detecting that you're a gay male?
Yes.
Yes.
How you doing?
How you doing? The thing is that you might want to get your hemorrhoids fixed and stick with being a topper more than a bottomer so that they can really heal.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I'm tired of buying Preparation H. I'm tired of it.
Well, the thing is that you got to lay off taking it and just start giving it more.
Oh, see, but I'm a bottom girl.
Yeah, I understand that. Then your behind is going to forever stay blown out, and you're going to forever stay, bloody in the sheets. Shout out to Tigger. You understand what I'm saying?
Girl,
all right, I know this conversation has gone left, hasn't it?
I know. Okay, hey, good. I bought your CD. Is the bomb.
Thank you, Carl.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. Take care. Big Tigger, I'm sorry, but his two-way, he's probably already changed his numbers. How you doing? All right.
Only in the forest can you see this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool!
That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. And you might just see this. Visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Our sources say Paris, who currently receiving psychological help from UCLA Medical Center, has indeed felt bullied, but not by her schoolmates. To who?
Catherine, Joe,
they tried it. Auntie Janet, Latoya, Reedy, Tito, Janae, Marlon. They was mad because she has the nose that they had to pay for. You know it's the truth. Come on, man.
The girl is gorgeous.
She's gorgeous. She's everything that they had to pay for. They had
Them
to pay
eyes
for that
are mesmerizing. I can't take it.
You are now listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org, because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Yo, did you catch this flashback?
The first page of this fax got cut off, but listen to the rest of it. I couldn't believe my eyes. Wendy, my son was giving my husband a professional.
See the big one, Elizabeth. Oh, come on, Elizabeth.
I'm gay, I'm a homo, I like guys. I'm gay, I'm a homo, I like guys. I'm gay, I'm a homo, I like guys.
I'm going home. I'm going home. I've had it. I've had it. Today is a whole lot. Coming through your speakers, boy. It's windy, man.
This is Jay and Miss Versatile, and we still have on the line our special guest. Hello, special guest.
Hi.
Mr. Walt is on the line with us. And we're just so, once again, so super oopa duper. That's just my word. Don't mind me. Super oopa duper excited about having you on the show with us and being a part at the Sugar Shack. So, do you have currently any writers that have inspired you as of recent?
I have. In fact, I sat down and read for a second time some of their books just to help motivate me for writing the book, The Promiscuous Puppeteer. And among those people, I remember one that I read a while back by Victor Villaseñor called The Reign of Gold. That book had a tremendous impact on me, and some of what I learned from that book I was able to use in the form of knowledge as background for what I wrote in my newest book, The Promiscuous Puppeteer. Isabel Allende is another one of my favorites, and I remember one of the books that she wrote that had an impact on me, and I was able to use a little bit of the background. I would never use their words, but some of the background that I learned from her book called Portrait in Sepia helped me with some of what I was wrestling with in writing The Promiscuous Puppeteer. James Michener was probably the first writer or author to have written a book that had the biggest impact on my life. And he wrote the book called Hawaii, and later on I read his book called Chesapeake. But Hawaii, when I was about 19 years old, I was trying to make myself a better person, and I read that book, and I recall being able to visualize what the words that he had written, visualize the scenes that he had written, and I thought this is a tremendous transformation for a reader to actually feel as though they're sitting on the sidelines watching the story that the writer had written for his readers. Another recent author is James Para, and he wrote The Rampage of Ryan O'Hara, and I thought that was a wonderful book. I enjoyed it. John Grisham, of course, everybody knows him, and I remember enjoying The Pelican Brief, The Client, and Time to Kill, and there's been many others. And then when I got to writing my book, The Promiscuous Puppeteer, can I describe that for you for a moment?
Yes, that's what I wanted to ask. Please.
Okay. When I started to write that book, I had all the information in my mind. And I remember after I dug that turquoise out of the ground, I sat there thinking, I can write a story. Right here from Tonopah, Nevada, start the book here in Tonopah, Nevada, where I was, and there would be a woman with a sordid past who would be a person behind the scenes who knew how to manipulate people and get them to do things that she wanted them to do, and that there would be a geologist who was out prospecting in Nevada for a secret gold exploration company, and that she would know who he was, but he wouldn't know who she was, and that she would know that he had some secrets that she could capitalize on and ultimately in some way gain from that. And because she was so skilled and capable at what she had done in her past, I thought that I would call her the Promiscuous Puppeteer. And so if people could see the cover page on my book, they would see the picture of a lady wearing a mask, puppet hands reaching down with strings attached to people, making those people do what she wants them to do, sort of a desert background, and a totem pole in the background, which I cannot reveal why it's there, because it's an integral part of the story. Okay. And so when I sat down to write this story, I remember having this overwhelming feeling that the words were flowing for me. And I started writing, and every day I would write nonstop until I just had to go to sleep. I'd rise at 4 in the morning, I'd write until 10 at night, and those words just kept coming. I developed my characters. The story was flowing beautifully. The characters became animated in my mind so that when I was typing as I went along, they even began to talk to me, so to speak, and tell me what was next. And I can remember when I'd go to sleep at night, I couldn't wait to get up the next morning to go get on my laptop computer and turn it on and get back to the story so I could see what my characters had been up to while I was asleep. And sure enough, they were there. Sure enough, they were there. And they were anxious and waiting for me to come back, and they said, boy, do we have more to tell you. And I would just type furiously. And I did this day after day, 7 days a week, working 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 hours a day, so long as the words kept flowing. And as your prior guest had said, and I thought his interview was wonderful, that when you're writing or typing and the words are there, just keep going. Just keep typing. You'll clean it up later. And that's what I did. I just kept typing and typing and typing. I did this for almost 4 months. And finally, I got down to my last chapter. I knew where that chapter was going. I had decided from the very beginning what that final chapter would be like. I had to, because there's certain things that happened early on in the book, and as the book proceeds, that had to be tied up as a loose end in the final chapter. And I was typing the final chapter, and I can remember I got down to the last page, and I got choked up. Tears came to my eyes. I got the chills. And I told the story to people, I said, but why? And I said, for 2 reasons. One, I didn't want the story to end. And the other reason was because the story itself and how it was ending touched my heart. And it has done the same for many others. There's been a lot of the books have been pre-ordered and pre-bought. People have done reviews on them. And I'm reading people saying that they cried happy tears at the end of the story, at the end of the book, just as I did on that day when I finished that last page in the last chapter, when I had tears in my eyes, and I just didn't want the story to be over. And yet the way it all came together in the end, and how I felt, the way that all happened, I just felt like this was perfect, the way I wanted it to be. So, will there be a sequel? I don't know, but I've been asked if I'm ready to do one.
Now, are you ready to take that time to get back with the pen and the pad? So do you do longhand or do you do shorthand? What is your preference in writing?
I really don't do either. I do write down my characters their names, a little bit about what the character is about. Because when you're writing fiction, and a lawyer will tell you this, when you're writing fiction, you're writing a lie. And it's very hard to remember all the lies you've told as you write your book. And you have to constantly go back and check to see what did you write 2 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago about this person or that person. And you just can't remember all the details. And you might end up writing something that would conflict with something you said earlier. So when you're writing a lie, you really need to check your work carefully, because if you're writing a truth or a nonfiction, it'd be a lot easier. So lawyers love to have people on the witness stand who can tell the truth, who are ready to tell the truth, because they can remember the details of something far better than a liar can remember his lie. Does that make sense?
Yes. I always say
So,
a liar
yeah.
can never keep up with the lies that they tell, because you got to cover a lie to cover a lie.
That's right. That's right. And so when I'm writing a fiction, I write down this information about the character and the little details of what the character did on a pad of paper next to me, and I have one sheet of paper per character, so that I can quickly refer to it as I'm writing to make sure that I'm not misstating something as I continue to write. And another thing that I like to tell people, they say, what's it like while you're writing? And I tell them that I kind of slip into this mode where I feel like I'm in the world I'm writing about. I can see these things, so I can describe them in detail, and that I can convey them to the reader eventually, that same feeling, the feeling I got when I read James Mitchell's book, Hawaii, that I want the reader to feel what I'm feeling when I'm writing. I want them to slip into this other world, forget everything else that's around them, and while they're reading my story, they'll feel as though they're a witness to the story as it unfolds as they turn each page.
So, wow, I'm just speechless right now. So, when you were at your high-ranking position, did you think about writing at the time? Or you just didn't have time,
No,
really?
I didn't.
Okay.
No, but I can remember many times saying to myself, well, when the day comes when I'm eligible to retire, I will, because I have so many other things that I want to do with my life. And I will have succeeded with my primary career. I'll have everything that I need in life, and I'll have time then to pursue other things where monetary pursuit is not the primary goal, to pursue the arts in various ways. And that's exactly what I've done. So, no, I didn't think about writing a book while I was working my career. However, I wrote poetry and short stories. One of the poems that I wrote more recently was one that is in the book, because it plays a part in the book. And you might recognize the title. It's a part of the title because of where I believe you live, where you work from. This is called The Chesapeake Skipjack Skipper's Dream. And so if you ever do get to read the book, you'll see that poem in there. But that's an example of work that I used to do while I was in my primary career, where I would just sit off to the side on a day when I had time, and I was motivated, and sit down and write a short story or a poem.
So now that you're not in the grand pre-race of a 9 to 5, so to speak, and you have a little more time to push out more great books like you have, is it anything different you would do or say to an up-and-coming writer coming out for the first time?
Well, for somebody new that is going to write, I would want to say to them what your prior guest had also said, that they need to learn as much as they can about the subject matter they intend to write about, so that all the words that they may end up using are really at their fingertips, and that when they do start to write, they need to ignore the words writer's block. They need to forget that exists. There are going to be times when the words that are coming to you aren't exactly what you want, but my advice is just keep typing. Don't stop. Keep typing. Even if you're wandering around aimlessly, sentence by sentence, paragraph by paragraph, just keep going. And gradually, all of a sudden, things will start to come back. And you can always go back and clean up what you wrote earlier if it wasn't what you wanted and didn't quite fit the story. But don't stop writing. There are people who told me that they would hit a brick wall with their writing, and they would just stop writing, and they'd come back to it a month or two later because they were disgusted with themselves, and they'd start to write again, and they never could pull it all back together. The magic was gone. And my advice to them is, if you can only devote 2 hours a day or 4 hours a day, you need some quiet, peace and quiet. Find that time in the day where that works for you, and every day just sit down and type.
And that's what it's about, just writing it down. So, do you, since you were listening to the show earlier with our previous guest, Gio, and he said it took him 4 months, 3 to 4 months to write his book.
Yes.
And that's amazing for a first-time writer coming out.
I guess, too, it's different because it's different content. Whereas if you're doing a novel, you have to, you're doing more thinking, I think, to be more creative and, like, characters and theme and plots and things of that nature and building on that. But with something with like a self-help, or not saying one is easier than the other, but I personally think it may take more into writing a novel than, and I could be wrong, than to writing a self-help or a motivational book, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm just throwing my opinion out there. What do you think, Walt?
I think, personally, at least this is how I feel. It may not be the way it really is for most people who write, but I feel that, and I can speak from James Michener's perspective, because I learned a lot about how he used to write his books. But the writer needs to learn the subject matter that they intend to write about quite thoroughly. They have to dive in and grab a hold of any and all pieces of information to learn it, understand it, talk to people, stop in libraries, gather data, just learn about the subject, so that when they sit down to write their book, they have a wealth of information, and they can write about what they know about. Even though they're not writing nonfiction, they're going to write fiction, but they have all this new information that can serve as a backdrop or a basis or a foundation for the real story that they intend to provide to their readership, to the general public.
I like that. So, as a person like myself and Miss Versatile, and we're on the journey to writing our book, and excited and a little hesitant on my end. I can't speak for Miss Versatile, just that we both, well, she's way ahead of the game than myself.
I have 3 chapters left of my book. The hardest thing I feel has been to finish. I wrote it in 2011, and as you know, it's 2014, and I was determined to finish in September of 2011 and put it down and haven't picked it back up. So there's no excuse after hearing your story. Exactly, Robbie. Give me the do. After hearing your story, you've motivated me. And it's time to at least, it's time to at least read it over, just to pick it up and read it. So, let's see where I can start.
Well, one of the things I mentioned to, yes, ma'am, and one of the things I mentioned to you previously was to strive for progress, not perfection, but always keep progressing. Don't look back. Don't stand still. If you have this in mind, it's something that you want to do, then just every day say, I'm going to do something about it. I learned to give myself, to give more of myself to whatever it was I was doing, because I always wanted to remember exactly how it felt when I had nothing and when I had no one. So I want to remember, and I always do remind myself of how it feels to be able to do more, to give more of myself to whatever it is that I'm focused on doing, because I have the opportunity to do it. Nothing is holding me back other than me. And if I choose to do nothing, then that's my choice. I have to learn to live with my bad decisions and my bad choices. If I make good choices and they don't work out, at least I tried, like that moth that tried to go to the light of the most distant star. At least that moth is going to end up going further than all the other moths that went to the light of the nearest light bulb. And so I want to just stress that one point. Never forget, at least for me, I will never forget what it was like to have nothing and no one. And so consequently, when I do things, I commit myself to try to do the best I can. I don't give up easily. I work hard at it. And ultimately, in the end, if I can't accomplish what I set out to do, it won't be because I didn't give it my all.
So with that closing note of inspiration to myself and our listeners, what else do you have other than a special date soon approaching to do?
Which is? Let me in on the secret, Walt.
Share.
Pardon?
I said that special date that's
About
coming
the new
up.
book?
Yes.
Oh, yes, can I? Do I have a minute to tell you a little about it?
Yes.
Okay, well, my new book, The Promiscuous Puppeteer, will be coming out next Tuesday, although it's already been available through my publisher for what was called the first printing, and they finished the first printing, and those books are gone. They started the second printing to get ready for the August 12th date. Amazon.com, for example, to my extreme happiness, announced that they were taking pre-orders for the book. The Promiscuous Puppeteer, and I'll just read you a brief synopsis. The Promiscuous Puppeteer is a multifaceted story about a secret gold exploration company funded by a syndicate comprised of some of the largest mining companies in North America, and a CEO who was approached by a Mexican Native American woman whose skills from a sordid and seedy past had the potential to help launch the world's largest gold discovery onto the international stage. Chinese intelligence and embassy officials, U.S. politicians, unscrupulous industry leaders, and a fledgling but growing and menacing Native American mafia are all primary constituents of a compelling and momentous drama that takes place throughout the western third of the United States. And it all begins in a 5,000-foot-high remote desert location called Tonopah, Nevada, which was, by the way, that place where I was digging turquoise out of the ground when it struck me like a lightning bolt that this was how my story would begin and where it would begin, in Tonopah, Nevada.
Wow.
That's The Promiscuous Puppeteer, so I hope some of your listeners are intrigued or interested enough that they might want to acquire a copy for themselves, and I hope they enjoy the book that they do.
I'm sure they will. And I know just by speaking with you on this intimate level that you've been speaking with us, that I know how much work you put into the book, that it's going to be a great seller. And of course, we would like to bring you back soon to let us know
thank you.
The update on how the book is doing and what else you have going on. So I'd like to put that out there.
Thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
Thank you. I'd love to.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Walt. It was a pleasure.
So how can our listeners be able to find you also?
Well, I'm on Facebook, and my page for the book is called The Promiscuous Puppeteer. So if they go on Facebook and just type in the word Promiscuous Puppeteer, my page will pull up. I also have on Twitter a site, but it's under my name, Walter Biondi, B-I-O-N-D-I. And I have a website called waltbiondi.com.
Well, thank you, Walt, so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I have tremendous gratitude for allowing me to participate in your show with you today. I was looking forward to it all day long.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank
You're
you
gonna
so
make us
much.
cry. Especially me. You already know already.
We're so
I'm a
sensitive
crybaby
around here.
So thank you, Walt, and we'll be chatting with you soon. So we'll follow up, as I said, with bringing you back on this show. Thank you so much.
I'd like to give a shout out, if I may, a shout out to your
Yes,
engineer,
of
the
course.
unsung hero, who helps put this show together. And I want to thank both of you ladies. I appreciate it so much. I've enjoyed this, and I can't wait to join you again sometime.
Thank you so much.
And that's Engineer Robbie
welcome.
in the background.
Okay. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome. Bye-bye.
You're welcome.
Beautiful, beautiful show today.
Oh my goodness. I'm so thoroughly floored. That was an amazing interview. Both guests today.
Beautiful.
Both guests today were amazing.
So, unfortunately, we have to end our show.
Shout out, can I do a shout out? Shout out to Miss J. Shout out to Miss J.
Thank you so much.
For pursuing your vision and for letting this come to fruition, to come to life, and giving a platform to individuals to talk about everything they're doing. And I commend you and I applaud you, Miss J.
Thank you so much, sis. Thank you to Monty for giving us the floor to do that.
And thank you for having me as your host.
You're
Your co-host. Thank you.
Thank you, sis.
I want to thank you for the rice cakes and the M&Ms.
And you're more than welcome. Shout out to our special engineer, Mr. Robbie, in the house. So this is Miss J.
And Miss Versatile.
Signing off on Be Exposed Radio at the Sugar Shack. And we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Same time, same place.